doing, Isaiah?
That's the spirit.
Let me get that. Let me get the black. Let me get the grays out. I like my grays. But do it, brother. Do it. So who's gonna do it? Who's gonna stand up? Good. Who's your reader? Who's your reader? Okay, good. Go ahead. You got it. You the maestro, man.
Isaiah 14:1. Isaiah 14:1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined. Isaiah 14:1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land.
Right, because the Israelites are not in their land currently. So you got a people that's saying that that's saying that from the land, but they're really not. So the Lord is going to eventually choose Israel again, have mercy on us, and bring them back to that land. The Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, right?
And the strangers shall be joined with them.
Right? Israelite foreigners, right?
And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
Okay, right?
And the people shall take them and bring them to their place.
Right? Talking about the heathens, right?
And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids.
Right, so the house of Israel is going to possess the heathens in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. All right, so whatever manner of work that we want them to do, they're going to do for us in the land of the Lord, which is Israel, right?
Precept. Psalms 2:8. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance.
Right, so ask of me, and I should give thee the heathen for thy inheritance. So we're going to physically inherit the heathen. So whatever manner of work we want them to do, whether we want them to watch a pot or build a table for us or put up this wall, they're going to have to do it. And they ain't going to have a choice in that matter, right?
And the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession.
Right, the most beautiful parts of the earth, Israel is going to inherit. All right, and all we have to do is ask. But it's prophecy that this is going to come to pass. So, right?
Isaiah 14:2, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place,
Right.
and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were.
We should take them captives. Who captives we were? Because we were once a possession, we still are a possession of the so-called white man. So we're going to take them captives, who captives we were, right?
And they shall rule over their oppressors.
And we're going to rule over those that oppress us. And he oppresses through taxes. He oppresses through labor. He oppresses because some of us have children. He got us in child support. So we're going to rule over.
The system oppresses us.
Yeah, the system
daily.
oppresses us.
Fucking daily.
That's right.
This is Ezekiel chapter 39, verse 14. And they shall sever out men of continuing employment.
Yeah, sever out, meaning give work. So, you know, they in the economy right now, they worry about low job rates. And the kingdom is going to be full job rates.
That's right.
For the heathen.
That's right.
It's going to be nothing but work to do. It's going to be nothing but work for to do.
That's right. It says, back in Ezekiel chapter 39, verse 14, and they shall sever out men of continuing employment.
So you're going to sever out. So if this task needs to be done, this heathen's going to do it. Or if this task needs to be done, this heathen's going to do it. Go ahead.
It says, passing through the land to bury the passengers, those that remain upon the face of the earth.
And one of the tasks will be to bury the dead, because this war that's coming up.
That's the. It's going to start with the elect, the elective Esau.
Okay.
The top banking families. They're going to be. That's going to be their first job. To dig them holes and bury them bodies. And we're going to be looking over them too.
You better do a good job. It says,
we can almost taste it, man. We can almost fucking taste it. And we know you wicked elite. We know you watch our videos, man. Because the Lord got the spirit on you to watch our videos. So you know what's coming for you. Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Windsors, DuPonts, Gettys.
Oppenheimers.
There you go, brother. Oppenheimer. That's right.
It says they're going to go from riches to rags.
That's right.
That's right, dude.
It says, right.
Ooh,
Shekels, shekels.
brother, the poet didn't even know.
It says, passing through the land to bury the passengers, those that were made upon the face of the earth.
Yeah, because not everybody's going to die in this next war. There's going to be a few that live, and that's going to be their duty. One of their duties is to bury the dead that remain after this war.
That's right. It says to cleanse the earth.
Right, because according to the law, you have to bury the dead to clean the land. What?
It says upon the face of the earth to cleanse it, and after after the end of 7 months they shall they reach. That was it.
No, it's no more.
It says, and the passengers that pass through the land, when any seeth a man's bones.
So this has to be fulfilled. So in the process of time, it's not literally 7 months. It's in the process of time. They're gonna go throughout the land, looking for dead bodies. Go ahead.
It says, and the passengers that pass through the land, when any man when any sinful man's bones.
There goes some bones right there.
It says, then he shall set a sign.
So he's gonna stamp the ground, and then the other laborer is gonna have to come and bury that body or bury the bones.
Dig the hole and bury that body.
Yeah, bury the body. Yeah.
Till the buriers have buried it in the valley of Hemengad.
That's right. So that's gonna happen. So jump back to this.
Isaiah 14:3. And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow.
Yeah, because is any brother in rest right now?
Hell no.
No.
So it's gonna come a time where the Lord is gonna give us rest. Can somebody get the definition of rest?
I know, you can get a precept, Hebrews 4:9.
Yeah.
They're remaining for rest. Yeah, they're remaining for rest.
This is the book.
Yeah, give me a definition of rest real quick.
Yeah, the Hebrew word for rest is Noah. Noah. It says to rest, settle down, and remain, to repose, have rest, be quiet, to cause to give rest to make quiet.
There you go, man. And the first thing you hear in the morning is what? An alarm clock.
Yeah.
So we definitely not in quietness, you know?
Micah 2:10. Arise, this is not our rest.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Micah 2 verse 10, it says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted, it shall destroy you.
You can break it down, bro, as you read.
Oh, come on, slack. It says, arise ye and
You
depart,
got a beat buzzer.
for this is not your rest. Yeah, arise and depart from this society, because this is not where you're supposed to be settling down. You had other false prophets out there talking about, let's build a New Jerusalem and build a land in the place that's be destroyed. This place is not set up for us to rest, because we're constantly beat down and not be able to rise. So it says, arise ye and depart, but this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It should destroy you, even with a sword destruction. And first and foremost, it's polluted by the blood of the Israelites, man. You know, because the scriptures talk about, what's that, the Numbers? Or,
Number 35 or 33.
yeah, saying that, I'm not going to verbatim, but the only way it's going to be cleansed is by the blood of them that shed it, which is Esau.
Right.
So part of the cleansing is the fire, but also Esau's blood, man.
Yeah.
That's how it's going to be totally cleansed.
Yeah, the air is polluted, the food that we eat, we literally eating shit. That's that parable with Ezekiel. Lord told Ezekiel to eat what man's dung, and he protested. Then the Lord told him to eat cow's dung. So that's likened unto the food that we eat, if you can call it that.
Say something real quick. This scripture also proves that reincarnation exists, because those people that killed the so-called Native Americans back then, guess what? Those same people that did that, they're going to come back in this time for their judgment. That's right. They're shedding those blood all the way back there. That's right.
Apostle Lord, you have I think they're Ammonites that they were able to use actual feces and create a fucking steak out of it.
Oh, I saw that
Yeah,
video.
make steak out of it.
Well, the food that we eating is shit. How many videos we see that made out of bugs? And we don't want to be here, man.
Also, I saw on TikTok in Great Britain, you had this guy, he was out there, and they were using human cells to create meat, like steak, for people to eat. And people were eating it, saying it tastes better than animal food. Meat made out of human cells.
I'm sorry, remember the celebrities did that. With, what's that?
Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, they give their part of themselves.
You gotta talk louder, Trey.
I'm sorry, they're giving up the part of themselves and were making food out of it. Ellen DeGeneres, she was part of that. She was part of celebrities who was giving them part of their body cells or something and making food out of it, man. Part of that idolatry and food.
So basically, we know why the scripture says this place is polluted. We know, we understand it.
They even you know, a few weeks back they okayed the sale of fake chicken, like clone chicken. Yeah, so this place, man, lab-created chicken.
That's what you have called for? Hebrews 4:9. There remaineth therefore a rest to the people of the Most High. All right, back in
You can go into it.
Yeah, bring it. Go into it.
Let's go into it.
Hebrews 4:9. There remaineth therefore a rest. What's that rest? It's not here, right? That rest is talking about in the kingdom to come.
Right.
To the people of the Most High, and like this brother was saying, all right, the rest is going to be for the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right? These other nations, we're going to put their ass to work, all right? In the scriptures, you know, you're supposed to give a man wages. You know, he works, the sun goes down, you pay this man. But here in this kingdom, you can work from sun up to sundown for some people for a month before you can get a check.
It's wickedness. Total wickedness.
Back in Isaiah 14 and verse 4.
Yeah, this is Revelation chapter 21, verse 4. And Yahweh will wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away.
Where's that going to be?
In the kingdom.
There you go.
You know, this is going to happen in the kingdom.
If your brother's got precepts, break it down as you read it.
Yeah.
Right. And you know, as everybody, you know, brothers is breaking down, you know, this is not our rest. So, you know, in the kingdom, we're going to have rest because we're going to have new bodies, we're going to be made perfect. So it says, verse 5, and he that sat upon the throne said, behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, write, for these words are true and faithful. You know, which the word is true. And we see it manifest.
Isaiah 14 and 4. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased.
Yeah, so it's going to come a time where they're going to say, how has the oppressor ceased? Which we know the oppressor being America. They're going to say, how have the oppressor ceased? Go ahead.
The golden city.
Esau's the oppressor.
Yeah, Esau,
Yeah. And his goddamn system. Starting with them top banking families.
The golden city ceased.
Which we know is America because everybody has the term that America's paid with, the city's paid with gold. You see? Yeah.
It says, the Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepters of the rulers.
Yeah, so the Lord is going to crush their power, their might. Go ahead. When he sends his son Yahweh Shah,
There you go.
his second return.
There you go.
And he take them out of power.
The prophecy says Yahushua is coming with great power.
Yeah.
I got a piece of back up on that. It says, Isaiah chapter 24, verse 21, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord Yahweh shall punish the hosts of the high ones that are on high. The hosts of the high ones are the international bank problem with the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Gators, the Oppenheimers, the Kennedys, the Onassis, all of them 13 families that rule. They're going to be punished and they're going to get chains slapped upon them and they're going to be tossed headfirst into a goddamn hole. And then when New Jerusalem comes down, which are the elect, they're going to be visited and put to work pursuant to Ezekiel, the 39th chapter, the 14th verse.
Hey, all you brothers got to get into it, man. It seems like it's just the hot spot is right here. What's up? I want to move around, man.
It says, and it shall come to pass, it's back in Ezekiel chapter, Isaiah chapter 24, verse 21. And it shall come to pass in that, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord Yahweh shall punish the hosts of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. Going back to Psalms 140, I think it's Psalms 149, punishing seven kings, seven kings upon the kings of the earth and the rulers. So, hey, man, we're looking forward to a glorious time, man, because I'm going to take pleasure, if I'm part of the elect, I'm going to take pleasure in beating the shit out of one of them Rockefellers, man, one of them Rothschilds. Absolutely. And putting slaves and putting chains upon them. Boots to asses. Yeah, you got it back there.
Habakkuk chapter 2.
Everybody get into it.
Verse 6. Well, verse 5. It says, yea, also, because he transgressed by wine. It's talking about Esau, the so-called white man. He transgressed by wine. That wine is what? His philosophy, his ideologies, which is democracy, all right, Christianity,
feminism,
LGBTQ, capitalism, all right, so forth and so on. All right, it says he's a proud man, neither keepeth at home. Yeah, and that's your United States of America military, all around the four corners of the earth. They got military bases set up all around the globe. All right, primarily over there in the Middle East, which is the hot point where World War III is going to be for that. Okay. It says, who enlargeth his desire as hell and is as death and cannot be satisfied. Yeah, the so-called white man is as death, because anywhere the so-called white man dwells, death follows. Okay? And he destroys every land that he inhabited.
He's the border of wickedness.
Yeah, pursuant to Malachi, the 1st chapter. They're known as the border of wickedness. It says he cannot be satisfied. Yeah, the so-called white man, they have billions and trillions of dollars. They have all the gold and silver, the natural resources. All right, they have these nations under their feet in slavery and captivity. All right, but he still can't be satisfied.
He wants more.
All right, he wants to be like the Most High. All right, he wants to go into outer space.
He wants everyone chipped.
Yeah, he wants everybody to receive
so he can control it.
Right. He wants everybody to receive the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip.
Can I say something real quick? How was it that over in Africa in Niger, they call it Niger, we really call it nigger. They are rich in resources, but the people are poor, dirt poor. They got this which is the French was a part of the Seven Hands. They got a military base in America as well, but they still in order resources from that country, man. And these people, they saying it was a military coup, but what they did was they kicked out the puppet government that France set up and put in place, and now the military is running everything. Now all these different African nations, so-called African nations, but some of them are Jake. They standing up there and they side with Russia, and Russia told them, listen, we forgave your debt, and we willing to give you any military hardware that you need to help you to stand on your own. So what that's telling you, man. So, hey, man, these prophecies coming to pass, and Russia's becoming a guard to these different nations, man. And what's going to happen is they're going to supply them military hardware, and they're going to use that military hardware. It's prophesied that Ethiopia, Libya, those are going to be ones that's going to help, that's going to come with bucklers and shields with Russia to destroy America.
Let me finish this out.
Yeah,
it says, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. Yeah, the United Nations, they have the G7 summits, okay?
New World Order.
New World Order.
Bilderberg Group.
The Bilderberg Group, all right? And he wants ultimate control over all nations and all people. And he's trying to do that via this New World Order, which is the image of the beast, which is going to usher in that mark of the beast, which is the microchip.
The World Economic Forum, like Elder said, WEF.
Isaiah 14:5. The
Lord has brothers over there, man.
The Lord has broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers.
Brothers down here.
He who smote the people.
Read yours. I'm gonna come back.
Verse 6. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruled the nations. Continual stroke.
Yeah. I was gonna wait for you with the next part. He that ruled the nation.
Verse 6. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke.
He that
Continual stroke.
She said, he that smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. So you got to put yourself in the scriptures. So as a person smiting you with wrath, but it's a continual stroke. So it's not hitting you one time, it's hitting you again, And that's what Esau does. I got something real quick. Now this is from a website called, wait 1 second. It's a website called, it goes into America being looked at as a world bully. It's radio, okay. It says WRFERL.org, Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty. Now this is from back in 2009. Let's read this. It says, it's a poll that was done, right? And it says, the poll finds that 15 of 19 countries, excluding the United States, the majority sees Washington as bullying other countries with the threat of its powerful military. That's why the scripture tells you that terrorists have deceived you, right? in 17 of 19 countries, according to the poll, the United States is seen as not obeying international law. Yet majorities in, well, that's basically the point that I wanted to get to.
Say
So,
something real quick?
huh?
Real quickly on that continual stroke, there's a phrase here in America, what's hurting? Everything, right? How's everything hurting? Because, you know, you walk on this concrete, now it's fucking up your lower back, some sort of, if the food, there's always something in the society, the so-called white
You don't
man,
got to talk loud so everybody can hear.
right. There's something in the society, the so-called white man that's implemented to put some sort of physical stress on your body, whether it's walking on this concrete or what have you. All right, so it's like your body could truly never be at rest. It's always getting beaten somehow.
Yeah, physically and spiritually. All right, they could get you physically, they get you by their laws, you know, paying taxes, child support, and now and you notice they're upping the taxes. They're claiming they ain't no money. You know, they're putting more stress mainly on the people of the Lord, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, so on all levels they're getting you, man. I got a scripture right here real quick, being that your brothers are going into that. It's Revelation 18, I'm gonna start at 3. It says, for all the nations have drunk the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And that's what? Through her what? Philosophies, religion. You'll find the so-called white Jesus Christ in every nation on the planet Earth, man. Even though these nations are mad, they still trust that the one you call God and his son are white people. Right? It says all the nation, and also too their policies. They're like you mentioned, capitalism, also communism, socialism. That's all of the so-called white man. All them isms, man.
His money system.
His money system, you know. So it says the nations have drunk, and these prophecies really started speaking when from after World War II, all the way till now. Because remember when they dropped them big bombs, the whole world was shook. You know, they was like, "Yo, we got to get down with them, otherwise they're gonna do us like what they did in Japan." You know. It says, "For the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication." Oh, LGBTQ. If you don't follow that, we ain't giving y'all no money. If you don't follow these policies he's dropping on you, we're gonna sanction you. You know, we're gonna set embargoes against you, right? It says, and the kings of the earth, the different leaders of these different nations, right, have committed fornication with them. Yeah, they took them payoffs, you know, to make sure their people stay in line. You know,
they're all part of that New World Order.
It's all part of that New World Order, which ultimately is the New World Order. It says, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I mean, what me and you was talking, a lot of these nations that come here and get rich, when you check it out, a lot of them, like let's say the so-called Asians, the so-called East Indians, the natural Africans, Hamites, the ones of them that come and get rich be the serfs of those countries. When you check it out, a lot of them Chinese that go over into the West Indies and set up shop, setting up shop, right? Going back to the point, all these they're setting up shop. I know that's a train of thought.
The spirits are getting active.
The spirits are getting activated.
Babylon the Great.
Babylon the Great, boy. Confusion. It says, for all the Satan is mad because his information's coming out.
Absolutely.
You know, it says, for all the nations have drunk of the wine and of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich. Right, going back to my point. A lot of these nations that get rich mainly will be the serfs of those nations. They're serfs where they at, but they come over here to become and mainly getting rich off of who? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right? That's why no matter where you go in this country, you go to a so-called minority community, who owns all the businesses? The heathen, the so-called Arabs, the so-called Asians, all right? The so-called natural Africans, right? And they get all the benefits that you can't get. Right, so they're waxing rich. That's why, hey, when you read down, that's why they don't stand afar off. Even though they hate this place, they want this place to keep thriving because that's how this place have made them rich. Right? It says, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And as we know, the times that we're in now, them delicacies are drying up, man. Right now, the FRN, that note, that dollar bill that they trust in,
its value,
is about to be destroyed. And they're going to come in with some new shit. It's called the MOTB, baby. All right? And you ain't going to be able to buy, sell, do nothing unless you get it. And you know what? We saw what happened in the last lockdown. How the people were so happy to get them checks in the mail. You know, they were giving them so much money, or false money, all right? But they were giving so much of it that when they so-called open shit back up, people didn't want to go to work. Wait a minute. You had jobs that was once paying $10 an hour. Look, we'll give you $25 an hour. Nah, I'm going to stay home and collect these checks. So how much more when they come with the MOTB? Because like, no, man, give me that MOTB, just son. I want that MOT. There's going to be a whole lot of you going to take it, man.
Including a lot of you fake-ass Israelites.
That's right. Fake-ass Israelites. All right? So I have a point on that, brothers.
A quick precept, continued
Yeah, raise your voice, brother.
Brothers getting into the continued stroke that Esau do, right? This is the book of Psalms, chapter 10, verse 2. The wicked in his pride doeth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in devices that they have imagined. For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesses the covetous whom Yahweh abhorreth. The wicked through, right, it says, for the wicked boasteth of his heart desire. And like the elder went into, that MOTB. Right now he's very bold, the WEF, they speak in different interviews and different lectures and speaking on what they got, what they want to implement, and the CBDC, the social credit, this digital money. And it all leads to what? The MOTB, which is Bible prophecy. So it says, the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesses the covetous whom the Most High abhorreth, meaning who the Lord avoids. They bless everything that is wicked, man. Right? Verse 4, the wicked through the pride of his countenance will not seek after the Most High. The Most High is not in all his thoughts. And when brothers get into continued stroke, everything that this devil does, he does the opposite. So this is why we catch hell. This is our captivity. And soon we almost up.
Like if you brothers in New York City, well, you brothers that are not from New York City, if you take the train, as soon as you go north of 125th, you see the people look slimmer, fall as Jakes, it's wealthier. But for some reason, when you go in the poor neighborhoods, that's where you see more people obese. And America is one of the few places in the world where really the rich people are fat, if you will. Why is that? Because the food choices that they're given. Now the brother had mentioned the continuous stroke. We're talking about the continuous stroke. One thing that's big among some people is type 2 diabetes, right? You can't, your body cannot regulate insulin. And that's because all our people know is Kennedy's,
McDonald's,
Chinese food, McDonald's, pizza. It's what they call a food desert, meaning you walk around, you see a bunch of establishments that should be giving you food, but it's deprived of nutrients. And that's another way it breaks our body down.
What verse are we in on Isaiah?
Verse 6.
How many verses is the last one? 32. 32? Let's try to stay on track. Because if we keep at this rate, we'll be out here until 12 at night. So you got to, that's the focus, man, right there. Throw a scripture or two and then move on. All right?
Back in Isaiah 14 and 6. He who smote the...
You know how that is, brother. Fucking 3 in the morning. We're going to get something to eat. Ain't no everything's close.
Well, everybody should get into it, man.
Yeah,
It just seems like,
brothers
you know,
more involved, man.
what you wallflowers?
Yeah, come, brothers. I know y'all got precepts, man.
Isaiah,
What's going on over there?
Isaiah 14 and 6. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth.
And in a big way, he ruled the nations in anger is with his monetary system, the dollar. Now I want you brothers to focus on August 22nd, because that's when they're gonna have their BRICS summit, and they want to speak about the implementation of the BRICS currency. Now they said that the BRICS currency is $55 US to 1 BRICS. All right. So what's gonna happen is gonna complete decimate the US dollar. You see, and that's the one that stoked these nations and continue to stroke is now about to be persecuted, and nobody's going to hinder it. Nobody's going to interrupt it because it was well deserved. Go ahead.
Verse 7. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet.
Yeah, that's after nuclear. That's after World War III. The whole earth is going to be at rest after this major destruction. Go ahead.
Yeah. And also too, when the so-called white man goes down, right now the whole earth is in turmoil. Who's ruling? Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked, right? And the scripture says, what's that in Proverbs?
When the righteous
Go on, say it.
When the wicked bear fruit, the people mourn, but when the righteous bear fruit, the people rejoice.
That's right. When the wicked bear fruit, and who's the wicked? The so-called white man. And the whole world's in mourning. And then when all these implementations, as brothers mentioned, come in, they're going to severely be in mourning, man. To the point where they're going to start killing each other. Because the lack of bread is going to come behind all of this. The lack of food, right? We talk about the food deserts. They ain't even going to have a food desert. They're going to be an actual desert. All right? They're going to fiend for that pizza. All right? Ain't going to be none of that out here. It's going to be shut down. Then they're going to start killing each other because they're going to say, okay, this guy got some food. I know he got food in his house. And they'll bust your door down and kill him. The scriptures tell you that. Or cannibalism. Go on.
I also want to mention that the decision against Russia offset this this whole BRICS thing to the 10th power. And now they have something called the Project Sandman, to where all nations want to dump the US dollar at one time, which the money has to go somewhere. So they're pretty much going to give back the US the trillions of dollars of debt that they accumulated. So what would that mean? Hyperinflation. So if you're paying $10 for a loaf of bread, you're going to be paying $5,000. You see? And a lot of people ain't going to be able to do it. So it's going to be utter chaos in the streets of America.
That's right.
Verse 7, the whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no fella is come up against us.
So when the so-called white man goes down, the whole world is gonna rejoice. You see, especially Israel, we're gonna rejoice the most. You see, but everything is gonna be in order, in accordance to where it was supposed to be, according to the law.
According to righteousness.
Yeah.
A fella is one that cuts down trees, right? And the so-called white man cuts down trees, but he also cuts down people, which is synonymous for trees in the scriptures.
I got that. Let me get that real quick. It's the book of Mark, the 8th chapter, and the 24th verse. All right. It says, Mark 8, verse 23. And he took the blind man by the hand and led him out of the town. And when he had spit on his eyes and put his hands upon him, he asked him if he saw aught. And he looked up and said, I see men as trees walking. So the scriptures tell you that men are compared to trees. So when it says the fir tree rejoice and the cedar rejoice, it don't mean actually trees going to be rejoicing. It's talking about people, the planet Earth. Because when the righteous are wicked on authority, the people mourn.
You know
So
what that really means? I see men as trees walking, meaning his eyes were blurry.
right.
He couldn't see it, then his eyes cleared up. That's what it really means.
Con.
But you can use that,
Con.
you know?
I got something.
So,
Psalms.
real quick. And so it says so it says no fella has come up against us, meaning nobody came up to chop us down, to take us down. You know?
Yeah, Esau's the one chopping these trees down. Deforestation.
Real quickly. This is Psalms chapter 1, verse 2. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law does he meditate day and night, and he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of waters.
That's the scripture.
So, there's many scriptures that like to men unto trees. Even Yahushua being the root of David, all right?
Nice.
That's another one. Or they shall leave them neither root nor branch. So you see branches are often compared to the descendants, you know? Yes.
Like you pluck a tree up and you turn it upside down, it favors the human lung. I had a shirt with 2 trees upside down. It said, without trees, you don't need these. So it'll show you, like, trees upside down favors the human lungs. You know, we get the oxygen and everything from trees.
That's the alveoli or the bronchi.
There you go. Let's come back.
Isaiah 14 and 8. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no fellow is come up against us. Hell from beneath is moved for thee, to meet thee at thy coming.
Yeah, your destruction.
Verse, right?
Yes, sir.
Somebody read that in the NLT. Read that in the
Yeah, I
NLT.
got it. This is Isaiah 14 and 9 in the NLT. In the place of the dead, there is excitement over your arrival. The spirits of world leaders and mighty kings long dead stand up to see you.
Oh, give me one word for that scripture. Give me one word. It starts with an R. And that's reincarnation. In the King James, it doesn't describe it as being reincarnation, but in the NLT, that's reincarnation. So these rulers that you see now were back there in another life, in other lives, previous lives, hating on the so-called white man. So now they got the power. Let the weak say I ain't strong. Now they got the power. Because guess the reason why they're coming against Esau is not just to come up in power, it's because Esau been beating our fucking asses. So we on top and we gonna beat your fucking ass now.
Right.
That's a part of it. It ain't always about money. It's about getting the satisfaction of fucking your ass up.
Power.
Because everybody hates the white man. But the white men don't know that. If they didn't go up there and tell them, I'm telling you now,
Right.
everybody hates your fucking ass, including your own cracker kind.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, Apostle. Who got it? Who's
I
that?
got you. Yeah, I got quick picture. This is
Come on
Jeremiah
with
49 and 17. It says, also Edom shall be a desolation. Every one that goeth by it shall be astonished, and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof.
Isaiah 14:9. Hell from beneath is moved from thee to meet thee at thy coming, and stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth, and the rulers of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones. It's like it hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations.
Yeah, now the kings of these nations are gearing up to take Esau down out of power. And one of that formation was the BRICS. BRICS is a major thing. And their whole thing is to take down G7, the Edomite nations. What?
Oh,
America, this dude named Noam Chomsky, American professor, he basically said America was brought to world court for acts of terror, but it was never acknowledged. You know what I mean?
verse 10. All they shall speak.
He was control opposition. If y'all know about him, because he was talking about how America is, and they ain't right. But when the jab came out, he said if you don't take the jab, you should get locked up. That show right there, he's the insider, man. Control opposition.
Control opposition.
Verse 10. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art
See, we
thou?
know everything about you, Esau. We know about the lasers that came down and shot little Maui, man.
Oh yeah.
And the count, if you check out the count, the first count of the dead was 6. The second count, I believe, was like 36. The third count was like 63. Now it kept getting the number 6, 3, or 9. Then it was, I think, 96 or 93. 9 turns around backwards and 6, 3, 3 6s. The last count was 114. 114 is what? 6. 4, 1 and 1 makes 6. So they're showing their insiders, we did it. We the ones that did it.
Yeah, exactly.
Verse 10. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we?
Yeah, the nation's gonna say, are you become as weak as us? Because now all nations have nuclear capability. So now it's like Esau can't flex his muscle like he used to. What?
Yeah, like he did on Japan.
Yeah.
Art thou become like unto us?
Mm-hmm.
This is going into a future prophecy, because in the kingdom of heaven, it's going to be like, damn, was this the great man that we read about in the Bible, that very similar to the Egyptians? Like the Egyptians, a lot of times you see these Africans with the big belly and flies. Remember those ads? But during the time of Egypt and back then, they were one of the peoples that was very up there. So you're like, it's going to be very similar in the kingdom with the so-called white man. It says, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave.
Yeah, that pride. Your pride is coming down because Esau is realizing he's losing his shit. He's losing his power. What?
And the noise of thy vials, vials, V-I-O-L-S. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee.
Yeah, because that's a form of corrosion.
Decadence.
Yeah, corrosion.
Decadence.
Well, worms start to form, and that's synonymous with Esau's power structure. Esau's losing his grip, so now he's like in a dying, decaying state. And you look at, and the chief example of that is Joe Biden. You know, he look like half dead already.
A good example of this.
He's a personification of America. Joe Biden is basically a personification of America.
Weekend at Bernie's.
Weekend at Bernie's, yeah.
If I could, I'll make this point. Now in the scripture it said that has thou also become as weak as we, and you see that's because America is losing its power. One main reason is because they got Russia as a guard for these weaker nations. So Russia is a formidable opponent to America, and one of the reasons is Russia has been excelling America in technology. So they won the space race. So America had to come up with the fake moon landing, right? Now they came up with the the missile, right, Oppenheimer, but Russia one-upped them with the hypersonic missiles. So Russia is a guard for these weaker nations. So now America got to step back. So America has become is in a weaker position. So that made the other nations, now they can step up and say, you're not as strong as you used to be. So that goes, Ezekiel 38 goes into that. Yeah. Russia got their back.
They're emboldened now. They're emboldened. They're emboldened. They're powerful.
Says, how art thou, verse 12, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning?
Now Lucifer just means light bearer. And that's talking about, the wise men of Esau, the elites. How are you falling from heaven? Your power structure. Because now all these nations, like the elder just said, is coming up against America. You see? And they have the military might to back them. That's why France is mad at America for not helping them fight Niger. You see, militarily. But even France, going into the oppressive city, they have something called the first right of refusal, which they also have over Haiti. So if they don't do business with them,
and that's a trick back France. France is in Nigeria for what reason? The main resource is uranium. For what? 70% of the power of France is nuclear power, as opposed to the U.S. France, remember, is a part of NATO. So America's not going to fight with France because that would be Third World War. So now they're getting caught up on, that's Amos 5. You know what I'm saying? They went to the house and the circle bid them. Everything that they get, every interest that they get into, they're getting caught. So America's saying we're going to stay out of this one. And like I said, as soon as they get involved militarily, that's World War III. That means the rest of the BRIC nations got to get on the Russian side, which the Russians are backing up Africa fully, right? And then you got the NATO nations. So they're playing a funny game. In other words, you got to kind of pick something out without grabbing it. You got to pick something out, but you can't grab it or throw it into or something like that. That's what's happening to America. So America's in the trick bag. Because if Russia shoots one missile on France, the rest of the NATO nations got to get involved. So they're fucked. And Ukraine is dead, man. Ukraine is fucking dead.
It's like chess. It's playing chess. And every position America's in is almost exposing the king. It's like a check position. And they don't want to get checkmated, but Russia is putting them in a checkmate position.
Chess player, I see.
Any move is exposing the king.
Chess players,
Russians.
This guy, I forget his name. Anybody remember this guy? He beat everybody, and they had a computer go up against him. And he beat the computer, but then they made a more powerful computer, and the computer finally beat him. But a computer can beat this guy. If you look at the guy, he looks like an Ephraimite or something. Something, I forget his name. What's his name?
Boris Spassky.
Right, and he's like an analyst. He used to be on the news and all that. But the number one, when they had these tournaments on chess, Russia always won. Russia always won. So they're masters at chess. You know?
Hey, Kaspersky. Hey, the best antivirus is Kaspersky. Kaspersky, which is built by the Russians.
Oh shit!
They're the best hackers, man.
I got the word for Lucifer, and it's Hayalal, which is morning star, shining one. But it's from its origin comes from the word halal. You know, we say call halal. It means to praise. So the point being is that word Lucifer or light bearer is not a bad word, as most of Christians in the world would think. Right, it says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations?
Yeah, because at one time, Esau was given the power to weaken the nations.
Listen to this.
Salakia. It says, how many Russian chess grandmasters are there? 246. In total, Russia still has the most grandmasters compared to 101 from the U.S.
Nice.
That's me.
Come on now.
The Most High made a noble competitor. The Russians, which are Edomites, by the way. They're supposed to be brothers, but
the feet of it. The feet of it is the last part of Esau. The bear.
That's right.
If y'all can't see this, man, if there's any spies on top, the FBI, if y'all can't see this, man, the Most High gonna fuck your ass up too.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
He gonna get you, man.
Oh, yeah.
He gonna make you take that chip. Any of you spies and shit, any of you federal agents or any of you guys that are getting paid for this shit, you gonna wind up taking that chip, man.
Right.
Because we done told you the truth. We done told you the fucking truth, bro.
Not shown to
And we
declare
are
to
the men
you.
of the Lord.
Yeah.
These congressmen, all these motherfucking congressmen and senators and shit, and presidents,
right,
they all
Apostle.
know who the fuck we are.
That's right, Apostle.
Hey, I know who fucking Trump is. Trump is fucking this guy.
Nero.
Now check this out. Trump is gonna get back in.
Oh yeah.
They already said if there was a race right now, Trump would win. He said no Republican can deal with it.
There you
So
go.
if he goes against Biden, he gonna wipe Biden out.
Oh, yeah.
We want him to go back in.
Now this is what I did.
Want him there.
Now he only did 4 years, right? How many years did he reign when he was Nero? 14 years. So if the Most High grants him any more years, he'll be the last president.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Check that out.
Oh, yeah.
That's when Trump said the prophets of doom should not prevail. He was talking about us.
Talk about us.
Verse 13, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High.
Yeah, that happened July 16th, 1969, the Apollo 11, where he said he wanted to put his throne on the stars of heaven,
But
on
you
the
never
moon.
went to the moon. Y'all know that. That was a scam. But they went up into outside of the earth. They never really broke the real atmosphere. They went outside the earth itself. But they got their satellites and their space stations up there just outside of the earth's so-called atmosphere, but they really never even went past the real outer atmosphere.
You got the Van Allen belt.
Yeah.
How the hell they gonna get through the Van
They
Allen?
never made it through that. There's different. Remember, the scripture talks about different firmaments. They went outside, just outside of the earth's perimeter, and they're in that space, so they can look at the earth. They got the satellites.
Well, the Heavenly Father allowed them to put that satellites because
Yeah.
the destruction of America got to be televised around the world. To
God.
fulfill that prophecy, they stood from afar and saw the smoke of her burning.
Yeah.
How they gonna see that without them satellites?
Well, like the Apostle Cabal said, the Van Allen belt, they never broke that. Because there's another like atmosphere. You know, there's different. In Genesis, it talks about the firmament.
Yeah, the waters within the waters.
Yeah, waters. So there's different atmospheres. There's a first atmosphere. The Lord allowed them to break that, to leave the earth itself and go outside of that atmosphere. But there's outer perimeters, other force fields that the Lord did around the earth. The Van Allen belt, they never broke that. So they never went to the moon, but they did go into outer space, but not deep space. Like a Star Trek Deep Space Nine, they didn't go to no Deep Space Nine. But they did get into the, like, if this is the earth, the Lord let them go here so they can set up their little shit right around the earth. You know?
You gotta keep it moving.
Let's get back into it.
Keep it moving.
Verse 13, verse 13. For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north.
Right.
That goes to the correct one too, because that's why they want to chip everybody. The Lord knows who everybody is in the earth. The Lord knows every ant, every caterpillar, Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Esau want to chip everything in the animals so he could monitor every last living creature on the earth. So he wanna set himself up as the Most High.
That's what they said in the WEF. We're gonna be like gods. You know?
Yeah.
I will ascend, verse 14, I will ascend above the heights of the cloud. I will be like the Most High. Yet, right. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit.
Right, but Esau's part ultimately is going to get him destroyed and be brought to a lower state.
We gotta tell him, man. That's not talking about what Nate is talking about. Hell, it represents captivity. That's not Nate talking about what he said. You're gonna burn in hell. And Apollyon
The lake of fire is eternal hell.
Eternal
That's
hell.
what Bishop Nate, General Daniela got said.
Yep.
That's bullshit, man.
Yep.
That's a cunningly devised fable.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, anybody with interpretation would know that when the prophets had a vision, they described it the best way they knew how. And John seen literally looked like a lake of fire. So how could that be hell where you burn forever? Now it was a place, he was in an aerial position, and he looked down and he see fire, you know. A place of fire.
Can I see something real quick? And also the scriptures say hell and death was thrown into the lake of fire. So how can hell be a place if hell is going to be thrown into the lake of fire? It's a condition.
One West. Heaven and High Priest King Marshall, High Priest Ariel Yaquab taught us this. Heaven and hell are conditions played out on earth. We in hell right now. We catching hell. So they're gonna be brought down to hell, captivity, slavery. Hey man, when the Lord raised us up on these devils, man, we in Isaiah 14, right? Yo man, Esau is gonna catch pure hell.
That's right.
Verse 16. They that see thee narrowly, they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying.
Yeah, narrowly meaning with a squinting, like, you know, like in disbelief.
Right. We're gonna be taller than them too.
Oh yeah,
boy.
How many of y'all saw the movie? What's that movie?
Travolta. Forrest Whitaker.
No.
Battlefield Earth.
Battlefield Earth.
Battlefield.
Yeah.
That was us.
Yeah.
Y'all saw that movie? Yeah. That's a great movie, man. I can watch that 10 times.
We saw it
back
in
in
the theaters together.
We saw it in the theater.
After the camp, we used to go to the movies. Yeah.
That's when Jake took over.
Right.
This is, it says, they that see thee.
You know how we know they were Jake? If they were called a Cyclops. If you look up the word Cyclops, I don't know if it's still in Google, but they say the Cyclops is a mythical man-type animal that came out of Sicily. That's what they used to say. I don't know if they say it now. Somebody can look it up, but that's what they used to say. So who came out of Sicily? Jake.
Yeah.
They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble?
Yeah, they're gonna look at him squintingly, you know, like in disbelief.
That's how you read it.
Is this the man? Because it was a question. Is this the man that made the earth to tremble?
What? That's a rhetorical question. So it don't require an answer because that's the man.
Right.
You know?
Man, no, he's so pathetic. Is this the man?
Is this the man?
Right, so that definitely was.
These things rule over you?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. That's right. Our children in the kingdom. You were ruled by us.
But the Christian pastors, they kind of read like that too. It says, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness?
Yeah, he made the world as a wilderness because he destroyed the earth.
Destroyed cities. Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Come on now.
Yeah. The ocean.
What's that?
Turned Maui into a wilderness.
Oh yeah. He did that.
What they going to do? They wanted to get the Hawaiians off of the thing. They weren't leaving, so they burnt them out. So now they're going to rebuild it. But guess what? They're going to have Esau up in there.
Yeah.
They want to push the Hawaiians out.
Yeah.
Esau so much of the devil. They started swimming in a pool next the beach next to the people that ocean where the Maui took place, and then the inhabitants are like kind of mad about it.
Yeah, I just want to, and all the multi-million houses where Esau lives, of course, in Maui, they're untouched. Somehow they got untouched by the fire.
It was an inside job.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you might cut this video.
I'm going to read this and make it.
Gotta be careful.
It said that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof. Now in the movie, the original Planet of the Apes, you had Cornelius, that he was, because in that movie, the apes was ruling the so-called white man, and towards the latter end of the movie, it was knowledge to him that the so-called white man once ruled. And he was like, damn, like it was the same sort of expression. And then that's when he popped open that scroll, and it just revealed all the history of the so-called white man, that 29th scroll. It says
he should make a desert of your home in his.
Beast man. That's what it says. Beast man.
That's right, bro. That's right.
That made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof.
Yeah, give it to this fucking devil, man. Bring out all the shit on his ass.
The Bible says even in Maui, the scripture say, remove not thy neighbor's landmark, right? This is exactly what they did.
We went into that at the camp earlier today. That's the spirit.
It says that open not the house of his prisoners.
Yeah, because Esau's the only one that makes profit off of private prisons.
our driver's license, social security
Oh,
cards.
they're messing with the stream. But they just reconnected. It shows you they watch it. Fucking elites are watching.
Let's keep getting them mad. It says, verse 18, all the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory.
The stream cut off for a minute, then it reconnected. So they watch it.
They just tuned in. Everyone in his whole house, but thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch.
That's right.
Which what we alluded to earlier about the trees. Right. The computer, you would read down, it's still, you know, it says like an abominable branch, and as the remnant of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden under feet.
Yeah, detailing your destruction. What?
Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned.
Yeah, you're never gonna be renowned, being honored. You're gonna always be looked at as the devil or Satan, the ones that destroyed the earth.
Oh, like here in America, they erect statues to worship these devils. Christopher Columbus, Hernandez Cortez, Andrew Jackson, Indian killer. So these people, they raise up statues and they worship them. But in the kingdom of heaven, matter of fact, in the kingdom of heaven, all Edomites, the name of Esau will be wiped out completely.
Keep it moving.
It says, prepare slaughter for his children.
Right, so they have the argument, well, I wasn't there back then, I didn't do that. It said prepare slaughter for his children.
For the iniquity of their fathers.
So with what your ancestors did, you have to pay for that. What?
You are your
Because you are, yeah.
Okay, but
you are
real
your
quickly,
ancestors coming back through a reincarnation.
Right.
You know, that's what people don't understand, that reincarnation exists in the scripture.
Because a man is not supposed to pay for the sins of his fathers. The scriptures tell you that. But why is it telling you that you're going to pay for the sins of your fathers? Because all your fathers coming back.
Yeah, in the NLT it says, Isaiah.
In the reincarnation.
That's right.
Yeah, Isaiah 14:21 in the NLT, it says, kill this man's children. Let them die because of their father's sins.
We're going to start dealing with the NLT. Read that NLT. Hey, brother, read that again, man. Somebody
In the NLT, Isaiah 14:21, kill this man's children. Let them die because of their father's sins.
fire.
That's it.
Yeah, they're going crazy on the comment board.
Don DeMarco. It says.
Don DeMarco. You guys are funny.
It says, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities.
Yeah, because when you see them, when they're around, they just do wickedness, man. This is what you have.
It says, for I will rise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith the Lord.
So he's cutting off everything. Even America's glory he's going to cut off. He saw Edom is going to be infamous in the kingdom.
Real quick, because it said the nephew and all that. This is Malachi 4:1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch.
Yeah, completely cutting off his descendants. His seed line.
I got a scripture. This is going to the destruction of these Edomites and their children. Prepare slaughter for their children. So it says, Ecclesiastes chapter 41, verse 5, the children of sinners are abominable children, and they are conversant in the dwelling of the ungodly. The inheritance of sinners' children shall perish, and their prosperity shall have a perpetual reproach. The children will complain of an ungodly father, because they shall be reproached for his sake. Going to prepare slaughter for his children. Woe be unto you, ungodly men, which have forsaken the law of the Most High, Yahweh, for if ye increase, it shall be to your destruction. And if ye be born, ye shall be born to a curse. And if ye die, a curse shall be your portion. All that are of the earth shall turn to the earth again, so the ungodly shall go from a curse to destruction. The mourning of men is about their bodies, but an ill name of sinners shall be blotted out.
Nice, brother.
This is 23. I will also make, Isaiah 14:23. I will also make it a possession for the bittern and pools of water, and I will sweep it with the bosom of destruction, saith the Lord of hosts.
That's a lake of fire.
Yeah, that's a lake of
The
fire.
lake of fire is the besom of destruction is just sweeping. You're going to see a wall of fire sweep across America.
Terminator
East to
2.
west, just like Terminator. And from up top, it's going to look like a lake, literally a lake of fire.
That's what John saw.
Because remember in 1 Peter, the Most High, he flooded the earth once with water. This time he's going to flood it with fire.
That's right. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving.
Okay, that word there for besom also means room.
It's like, you know what movie I always think of when I read that scripture, the besom of destruction, is that movie The Knowing too. Yeah. The end of the movie where it was like that fire that came and just swooped across the country of America, you know?
That word there for besom also means broom. All right, verse 24. The Lord of hosts has sworn, saying, surely as I have thought, so shall it come to pass, and as I have purposed, so shall it stand. That I will break the Assyrian in my land, and upon my mountains tread him underfoot.
Yeah, it's talking about Esau, modern day Assyrian. Yeah, modern day Assyrian.
Nice.
Yep. Then shall his yoke depart from off them, and his burden depart from off their shoulders.
Yeah, that's him breaking the yoke off our neck.
Nice.
Having us in captivity, God.
This is the purpose that is purposed upon the whole earth. And this is the hand that is stretched out upon all nations.
So not only is he going to get Esau, he's going to get all nations. This is going to be the greatest deliverance for the children of Israel ever seen in man.
That's right, brother. That's right.
Verse 27, for the Lord of hosts hath purposed, and who shall disannul it?
Disannul it. Meaning cut it, meaning stop it, or cancel it. So that was a rhetorical question. It's like, who's going to disannul it? Nobody. Because this is what he purposed. Right?
And his hand is stretched out, and who shall turn it back?
Nobody. That's rhetorical. Right?
Verse 28. Salakia. In the year that King Ahaz died was this burden. Rejoice not thou, whole Palestina, because the rod of him that smote thee is broken.
Right.
For out of the serpent's root shall come forth a cockatrice.
That's what that means. Read that again.
Rejoice not thou, whole rejoice not thou, whole Palestina, because the rod of him that smote thee is broken.
Yeah, because they, the other nations pretty much thinking that because Esau went down, they're gonna have peace too.
Rejoice not thou, whole Palestina, because the rod of him that smote thee is broken.
Rejoice not thou, O Palestinians. Who's the Palestinians? Right? The Arabs. The Canaanites, the Arabs. So it's saying you Arabs don't get up, you know, like you running shit. Although the white man was taken down, because we're going to be over you now. That's what it's talking about. That's what it's talking about. You know?
That's right.
Right. It says, for out of the serpent's root shall come forth a cockatrice.
You know what that is, right?
This side.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
And his fruit shall be
so the rod that smote them so-called Arabs, just because Esau went down, you're not getting away scot-free. You're gonna get caught up too.
Yeah, because the Arabs just mean mixture. Who's mixed in that land right now? You have Elamites and you have Ishmaelites. They're also claiming to be the owners of the land of Israel. Yeah. But they don't know that after America gets it, Israel gonna get it.
Well, remember, that's what the Crusades was all about. Oh, remember the movie? We saw that in the movie theater years ago.
Kingdom of Heaven.
Kingdom of Heaven. I was thinking about that movie. Saladin. And remember, Israel, this is back during the so-called, what Esau calls the medieval times or the Dark Ages, you know, the era of the knights, you know, the knights and the round table and all that, Merlin, like that so-called era of the so-called Dark Ages. those people that were ruling in England and Germany and France, Spain, those were all Israelites. We know that. We had the book back in One West, Russian Icons, you know, and Russia. That's when Jake was ruling. So them Jakes back then, they knew that they were Israelites. They knew that they descended from the Israelites. So their thing was to go back, because at that point the Ishmaelites had took over Jerusalem. So that's what the Crusades was about. The so-called, well, that book, oh my goodness, Golden Age of the Moor. Go into the history of that. The Christian noblemen, which they were all so-called Christians in Europe, they were taking boats back to the Middle East to try to fight the Arabs to reclaim the Holy Land, because they knew that them Arabs were occupied. They were following that Islam crap, and they knew that the so-called Christians, the people that believe in Jesus Christ, so supposed to be there. That's what the Crusades was all about. So you know, the Ishmaelites, they think because they came out of Abraham too. They knew that. Y'all know that. That's why, like the Apostle Tahab said, look, break that down. The Palestinians, them Ishmaelites and them Elamites, they following Islam. They thinking, okay, when they going, Apostle Kabal said it.
They got next. They thinking they got next.
Yeah, well, we got next, and then Moab thinking they gonna have next. That's why the scripture said Moab should be a wash pot. So these other nations, they gonna, Apostle Kabal said it, they gonna witness. That's why the Lord allowed Esau to put the satellites outside of the earth. The destruction will be televised.
Yeah.
So them other nations think, oh, well, you know, the white man's done. We gonna no.
Go ahead, Ark.
It says, verse 30, and the firstborn of the poor shall feed.
Let's talk about Israel.
So read that again. Read that last verse.
Verse 29, rejoice not thou, whole Palestina, because the rod of him that smote thee is broken. For out of the serpent's root shall come forth a cockatrice, and his fruit shall be a fiery flying serpent.
What does that mean by fiery flying serpent? Yes. What does that mean? What's the Hebrew word for fiery flying serpent?
Cherubim. I'm sorry, seraphim.
What is the seraphim?
It's a
fiery serpent. Now, is it described anywhere else in the Bible?
In Joel. Well, you talk about the missiles, right?
You know, the word serpent.
Oh, serpent. In Ezekiel. I seen your lesson. You did on it, man.
Not in Ezekiel. And in Isaiah what?
30 and 6?
Isaiah 6?
Yeah. 8.
No.
30
From the first verse. Go to Isaiah 6 and 1.
Okay.
You read it quick.
Isaiah 6, verse 1. In the year of the king Uzziah died, I saw also the Lord sitting upon a throne high, and lift up his train filled the temple. Above it stood a seraphim, which one had 6 wings with twine, and is covered his face with a twine. He covered his feet, and with twine he did fly.
Y'all heard that? He said the seraphim, right? In Isaiah 14, it said fiery flying serpent, right? The Hebrew word is seraphim. In Isaiah 6, the word is seraphim, which means fiery flying serpent. What does it mean in Isaiah 14, seraphim, and what does it mean in Isaiah 6, seraphim? What's the difference? Or is there a difference? Let the man go through it. One second.
In this chapter, it's referring to the nuclear missiles, and in Isaiah 6 chapter, it's referring to the chariots.
There you go. Good. That's why you can't be sneaking. You can't be sneaking over the verses, brother. You got to hit every verse. Remember, we know him for 100%. You try to sneak over that Palestinian, let's go to that verse. No, you got to deal with every verse.
But you brothers should know that.
Important verses. Go ahead.
Hey, I got a precept to prove what you said about Palestine. This is Joel 3 and 4. And they have cast lots for my people, and given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head.
Yeah,
So
because
the-
when the white man goes down by these missiles, the Arabs figure Allah came and saved us, then we gonna come and say, no, motherfucker, Allah ain't no fucking Allah. Let me see you bow to a fucking dirty ass rug 5 times a day, we're gonna kill you, man. See, one thing we're gonna do, we're gonna put the whole earth in order. And at first they're gonna buck up, then we're gonna turn into the X-Men.
Yep.
And we're gonna get into their ass. And then they're gonna realize they're killing too many of us. Let's just listen to what they gotta say.
They had a major part in the slave trade as well.
That's right. I was
So-
thinking about that. Remember my man, there ain't gonna be no nigga in that day. Remember years ago up in the Bronx, we used to be on the oil table.
Oh yeah, that nigga.
Oh yeah, that guy.
That ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen.
Remember Apostle Cabal, my man?
Oh, he was kind of cool.
No, he
But
was cool,
but he
we had to curse
It was a Lord slow.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
come on, let's go.
Quick precept. It's the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 4. For Gaza shall be forsaken, and Ashkelon a desolation. They shall drive out Ashdod at the noonday, and Ekron shall be rooted up. Woe unto the inhabitants of the sea coast, the nation of the Cherethites. The word of the Lord is against you, O Canaan, the land of the Philistines. I will even destroy thee, that there shall be no inhabitant. In the sea coast shall be dwellings and cottages for shepherds and folds of flocks. And the coast shall be for the remnant of the house of Judah. They shall feed thereupon, in the houses of Ashkelon shall they lie down in the evening, for the Lord their power shall visit them and turn away their captivity. So the land of Israel, which is the sea coast, the land of the Philistines, is going to be for the nation of Israel, not for no Arabs, man. All right, not for no Canaanites, no Philistines, Palestinians. It's going to be for the nation of Israel. So the Lord is going to destroy that land. Why leap ye high hills, man? All right.
It says, shall be a fiery flying serpent. I'm not going to pull up the diagram for sake of time, but look up, brothers, look up something called the mutant missile. Now, the mutant missile has a nuclear warhead that can bend. And it can swerve. And if you look at it on YouTube, if you look at the mutant missile, it doesn't travel like this. They show you it traveling like literally like a serpent. Yeah, the mutant missile. You can look it up. It says, verse 30, and the firstborn of the poor shall feed, and the needy shall lie down in safety.
Yeah, Israel, going into the scripture say, Israel shall dwell in peace and safety. What?
It says, and the firstborn of the poor shall feed, and the needy shall lie down in safety. What?
No, I was just saying like lie down and get pastures.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, because when you lie down, you in safety. You're comfortable. You at rest. You know, and Israel's about to be in a state of rest.
Yeah, let them sing aloud upon their beds.
Yeah. And I will kill thy root with famine, and he shall slay thy remnant.
Talking about Esau and these other nations. Y'all about to receive your judgment. What?
Howl, O gate, cry, O city, thou whole Palestina art dissolved.
Yeah, even Palestine, the Arabs, y'all dissolved too. You see? Yeah, the land of Israel. Because it's about to be judgment on all nations. Because for y'all involvement in Israel's downfall.
Yeah, we all had a part. Your brother mentioned earlier about the slave trade. How did the Southern Kingdom get here? It was the Ishmaelites that really took part in getting the Southern Kingdom and sold them along with the Hamites. Don't forget about Ham to Esau. That's how Judah, Benjamin, Levi got in Esau's hands. Esau couldn't just go up. Esau couldn't just get, well, even Ruth. I was watching Ruth recently, man. You know, the original. With LeVar Burton and all of them. Them Edomites showed you in Roots. When they caught Kunta Kinte, it was other dark people, the Hamites, was snatching them up. And then the Edomites were like in the background, like Ham and Ishmael guided them in, or Esau sent them in, they got the slaves and brought them to Esau. Them damn crackers couldn't go up in the interiors of Africa. You know, they come on, man, aside from them different tribes that didn't like Esau, you had wildlife, you got in Africa, you got lions and cheetahs and all kind of shit. Them Edomites wasn't equipped to go up in there, so it was people who knew the terrain. And then the so-called, even today in so-called Africa, a lot of them Hamites are Muslims. because the Ishmaelites had conquered a lot of them tribes in Africa.
And what verse we in?
30. And I will kill thy root with famine, and he shall slay thy remnant. How, O gate, cry, O city, thou whole Palestina art dissolved. For there shall come from the north a smoke.
A smoke, meaning when there's smoke, it's fire. And that fire is going to be the nuclear war. You see?
What about the north? What is that?
North America. Like that.
That's Russia. That's where it's going to come from.
Russia.
The uttermost north. You got two north. You got American north, the land of the north. Then you got the uttermost north, which is Russia.
Yeah.
Land of the Medes.
For there shall come from the north a smoke, and none shall be alone.
Don't use that term, huh? You're going to get all the smoke. You want that smoke? America's going to get that smoke. What comes with smoke? The fire. Fire than the smoke. You know?
Russia gonna pop off.
Russia gonna pop off.
They're gonna pop off. Like in that movie The Day After.
They're gonna pop off like Peter popped off.
Yeah.
Peter pop off. Go ahead.
And none shall be alone in his appointed time.
Yeah, so no nation is going to be alone to receive this judgment alone.
Verse 32. What shall one then answer the messenger of the nation? That the Lord hath found Zion. The Lord hath founded Zion, and the poor of his people shall trust in it.
That's right.
So now we're going to close. We're going to do this quick. Good breakdown. So call it. We're going to be quick about it.
Oh, you shot you.
It's 8 o'clock. So.
Amadium. Rock. That's a Matar dismissed. All right. Yeah.